In this video, we'll be going over the continuation of the csharp.net video tutorials. So we'll be doing a lab in this video, so I've set up a form here. So the form is 3 text boxes, 1 button, and 1 list box. There's supposed to be a group around here, but I didn't bother with that because we're not going to be accessing it. We've done a tutorial on groups already. To code them, they're not that hard. Okay, so for here, for example, we have our brand text box. So that's this one. This is going to be our model text box, our price text box, and then this will be our button for add phone button. I've skipped the exit button because we've done that a lot recently. So then here we have the phone list box. So if you're wondering where all that stuff is, it's in the playlist. If I said that we've done it a lot, it's in the playlist, csharp playlist.net on my channel. So do go there if you're interested, because you usually have to see the whole playlist from the start to this part, because a lot of the time I'm just talking about stuff that we've already talked about. But I'm trying to keep it as fresh as possible. Okay, so let's move on to the code then. Okay, so let's have I think here we're going to create a class. Let's see. I think we're going to need a class, or we're going to use, if we're using a class that we already created, that's going to be crappy. I think that's the case here. So it's going to take me extra time to find that class. Okay. So we're going to have just a normal event handler class. Alright, so I'm going to have to go back to my notes to find the other class. Apologize about that. I should have just kept it. But I think I deleted it already. Actually, maybe not. Let's see if I can go File, Open. I don't know if you can see this, but I'll just look. Class Library 1. This might be it. New window. Hopefully the camera doesn't stop. That's not it. Oh, I should have said this window. I don't know why I clicked this one. Okay, I'm gonna flip to the other window. Hopefully you can still see. Okay, so that's not it. Let me go with open here. Open. Yeah, this isn't. I don't know what happened to that class. Okay, so let's just create it again. So let's go with new solution. No, I lied. Okay, so let's go into the drag and drop. Okay, so we'll go with, whoops, I double clicked something. Or is it just loading? Okay. Okay, so it's just loading, so I'm in Rider. It should be similar in Visual Studio if you're using that. So I'm gonna right click my form1.cs file. I'm going to go add class / wait a minute. Nope, I thought this was it. Add, okay, here we go, class / interface. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to name it cellphone.cs. Well, I don't think you have to type .cs. I'm just going to hit enter. Okay, so now we have this. I'm just going to access the I'm just going to copy these over the using directives. I don't think we need all of this stuff. We'll just go with this. It's not a form, so I don't think we need that. Actually, we might need it to access the other one. So let me just copy everything here. Usually we'll type it out, but we just don't have time because I have to create the other class. You usually don't get tested on those unless your professor's really strict. Okay, so we'll just go with that here. We'll comment that down. That didn't copy over. Okay, there we go. So we got all our using statements to access the libraries. Okay, so now we have public class cell phone. I'm just gonna try to do this without just thinking about it by myself. Okay, so let's just say that we have, for example, without looking back in my notes. So I think it needed a private, because remember backing fields are private, so we're gonna need some backing fields. So we went, I think, what did we say we had? For our GUI, so we have, for example, brand, model, price. Okay, brand and model are going to be strings, I guess. Actually, you know what? I think I might need to look because I forgot what they were. Let me just go back and look just in case, because I don't want to steer you guys in the wrong direction. I should have it here somewhere. Apologize about that. Actually, I think I have it right here. Okay, so this is cell phone. So this is correct. We're going to first need private string underscore brand. Then we'll go with, okay, so we'll go with, these are going to be our backing fields here. So private string, for example, model. And then here we'll have, for example, private decimal underscore price. Okay, so we have our private string brand, private string underscore model, private decimal underscore price. You don't have to include the underscore, but the convention is to do it. So I'm going to do it because it'll help us differentiate between backing fields and fields. Okay, so after that, let's set up the constructor, which is going to have no parameters. We could always use a default constructor, but in this case we want to kind of set a few things up here. So we want to go with public. We're going to create a constructor, we just access the class name like that. Just normal object-oriented stuff, and then here, so public cell phone, no parameters. In the parentheses, we'll open a block. We'll reference our underscore brand, we'll point it to an empty string. We'll reference our underscore model. We'll point it to an empty string as well. I believe it would be null if we didn't include this constructor. If we just had a default constructor, it would the strings would be null and the decimal would be 0. But if we do this, then the strings get set to empty strings. It's up to you. So here we'll go with underscore price to access that backing field. Here it'll point it to a 0M. That's going to set up our backing fields to start. What was that? Okay, so here we'll go with setting up the properties. Okay, to set up the properties, this will be the brand property. So all you have to do is you go public, and then you go, remember a property is going to be public. So property is going to be public, so then we go public, the type of the property, which is going to be a string, and we're going to name it. I'm going to name it brand. Then we're not going to include any parentheses. That makes it different than a normal method or a constructor. We're just going to open a block like that. Now the C# compiler knows that it's a property rather than a method or a constructor. So here we'll call get. We'll open a block. So that's going to be a keyword. We're going to need to set up our property. We're going to say we want to return our underscore brand like that. Here we say set. Then with set, we're going to say that we want our underscore brand to point to value. So value is going to be a special keyword that you can use. It's not just a parameter. So if you've seen that video before, the docs kind of say that it's basically anything. They make it sound like you can name it anything, but it's actually like a keyword that becomes a keyword in a basically in a property. But if you're outside the property and you went, for example, int value points to 0, that would work. So it's kind of a tricky keyword, but it is a keyword because it lights up red as well, or orange, whatever that is, red, orange. Okay, so maybe that is red. Some kind of red. Okay, so then here, it's like maybe like fire truck red or something. Okay, so here we have our pretty much our property. Let me just close this here a little bit. Okay, so we have our property for our brand property, public string brand. So the get returns the underscore brand, the set accesses underscore brand dot value. We could have used the this keyword here. We don't need to. You can do it. The compiler will tell you that it's redundant. To you whether you like to use this or not. So you can do the same thing in Java as well. Okay, so now let's move on to the next property. So we'll do two more. The public string model and the public decimal price. So go with the next property. So this is going to be the model property. Okay, so here we'll go with public string. So public string model will open a block. Then we're going to say that we want to get. So get, we're just going to return the backing field. Return model like that. Set, we're going to just open a block again like this. We're going to say model points to value. Like that. That should be correct. Okay, so we'll just do the last, what's this one? Whoops, sorry, return model. Because getters always just return something. I know it's not your normal getters and setters that you're used to in other languages, where you can just generate them with codes. You may have seen those in C, Java, Python, different languages, maybe JavaScript too, where you can basically just have getters and setters. You might have even seen those in just C programming, where you can just right-click somewhere and you can go like. So for example, I could right-click brand maybe, and I could go generate. Okay, so then the box will pop up. It'll say generate constructor, read-only properties, overriding members. You can't see this, but I'm just kind of, because it's a pop-up window, so then it says delegating members, some other stuff. Okay, so since we already created some stuff, maybe some things aren't showing, but you should be able to create getters and setters, normal getters and setters. Maybe C# doesn't do that, but other languages do. But it's easy just to code them out, it doesn't really matter. Sometimes if you're doing a project, like an app, like for something important, you might want to just generate things like that to help you speed your process up. It's up to you. Okay, so now we have all our properties set up. One, two, do we have everything here? Brand. Nope, sorry, we're missing month. Okay, so let's just go with the last one here. This is going to be the price property. So go with a public decimal underscore, not underscore price. We're going to call the property price. Now imagine if you would have had a backing field without the underscore. It might get confusing, it might not even work. This might have to be capital, so you might have to change that up. That's why I just keep the backing fields underscore as convention. Basically just like how they do it as a convention. So here you can have, for example, same idea, so we'll just have a get. We'll open a block, we'll say we want to return our backing field, which is the price, like that. Then here we'll say set. You want to say underscore price points to value, like that. That's pretty much it. So creating a property is really easy. Once you get the hang of it, it's actually really easy. Okay, so this is our class. I'll Control S to save it. We have cell phone. With our three different properties, our backing fields are all instantiated properly. So our object data is all instantiated, the properties are all set up. The class is ready to go with properties, so the object has properties that we can access. Okay, so let's continue on to the next part. So we'll go back to the other source file, which is just our Windows Forms app. We'll go to the code here. So we're going to have some extra stuff here. I'm just going to delete this. Delete all these notes. Okay, so here we'll have no fields to start. So we'll have, actually sorry, we've already done this. So let me go back down to where we were before, because I had to go up to get the class, the cell phone class. So there might be a field here. There is, okay. So we're gonna have a list to start. So there is a field here. Okay, so we'll go with list. I'm gonna call our list class of type. Well, it's not our class, but it's built into the docs, to the C# docs. So we'll go list of type cell phone. Then we'll go with list points to new. List of type cell phone, like that. Empty parameters, because that's what we have. Empty parameters. We didn't have any parameters in our constructor. We could have overloaded this to take one or several number of different parameters with different types, but we didn't. So we're just having this parameterless constructor. Cell phone, the P is in capital, and it's correct. There's no error, so we'll continue on. For the forms constructor, we'll just leave it as is. Actually, no, I lied. We're gonna have a button here, so we'll set up the button. We could have had two buttons, but we just have one, so we'll just go with that. What do we call this actually? Add phone button. Okay. So we'll actually use the constructor here. So we'll go with add. Whoops. Keyboard not working. There it is. Okay. So go with add phone button dot click plus equals new event handler, which takes a parameter add phone button. No. Yeah, actually that's correct. Underscore click, like that. So add phone button underscore click. So this one was add phone button dot click. So add phone button dot click plus equals new event handler, passing in the argument add phone button underscore click. So that's what you're gonna name it, your event handler name. Here we'll just go underneath private void add phone button underscore click. That should light up yellow now, and then we'll have object sender, comma, event args-e. Whoops. Alright, so let's go down to, actually that's pretty much all set up for now, so let's just go back underneath here. Okay, so we'll go with private void get phone data here. So private void, it's just called get phone data, so it just, the method name is, it's descriptive, it just gets the phone data. So in this case we just pass it a cell phone object, cell phone, named, for example, whatever we want, phone, like that. And we could say, for example, so we're going to have a local decimal here to hold the price, so we'll say decimal price. So it's a local decimal. Then we can say phone, for example, dot brand, which is our property that we created, that's of type string. I could say that it points to brand text box dot text, like that. We could say here, for example, we have our phone dot model points to brand text, nope, sorry, model text box. dot text property. And the next one is not going to be a string, so we can't just point directly to it. We have to use the try parse method. So here we'll say if decimal dot try parse, passing in the price text box dot text property, comma, out price, because we want to store it in the price variable. Then we'll open a block here, and then we'll say that we want to say that the phone dot price points to the price. So what's happening here, we're trying to pass the string price text box dot text property as a decimal, and if that's true, the data gets stored in the price with a successful conversion, and if it's false, so if it's true, returns true, and the data gets, it's kind of a two-part method, so it returns, so its type is that, but it also returns values to the variables. So if it's true, the value gets stored in price. If it's false, -1 gets stored in the price, and this block gets skipped. If it's true, it enters the block. So you can use a Boolean method as a condition for an if. You can use it for an if, for a loop, some kind of conditional. So here, for example, we'll go with else if that block is false. We'll say that we want to show a message box, basically just display an error message to the user. So we'll say message box.show. We'll go with invalid price as a string, and we can just say that it's an error message, like that. That's pretty much it. So we'll close our else block. We'll close the method. So we'll go into the add phone button underscore click. We'll instantiate. So what does a event handler do? It listens for an event to occur. So once the event occurs, it responds to the event. So in that case here, we'll instantiate a cell phone object named phone. We can just go with cell phone. Cell phone points to new cell phone. No parameters. Here we'll call it phone data. We'll pass in the cell phone object. Okay, what happened there? Whoops, sorry. This should be lowercase. So then here we'll call our list. So we'll say list dot. We have a list somewhere. Right here we have our list that takes cell phone objects, and it's named list. So we have list of type cell phone object. So now we can just go list dot add. Then what can we do? We can just add the phone to our list like this. Now the data and the phone all get stored in the list like that. From the phone, whatever data you have stored in your phone, it gets passed to the list. And then here we can go, for example, list dot items dot add. Actually, sorry. So we have list dot add. We add our phone, and now let's call the list box. So our GUI element. So we'll go with phone list box dot items dot add, and then we'll add so we'll reference our cell phone. We'll say we want to print out the brand property, so we'll say dot brand plus an empty string plus a phone dot. So we want our phone cell phone dot model. So we also want to display the model to the user in a text box. So then here we have that we're adding the cell phone dot brand to the list box. So we're saying, okay, we want to reference our phone list box dot items. So basically it just reference the list box. But to reference the list box, we have to reference the items property chained to the add method. Then we'll add that to the list box. What are we going to add? We're going to add the cell phone dot brand property concatenated to an empty string, concatenated to the cell phone dot model. So it prints our string properties to the list box. Then now we can just clear all the controls, so we can go with like for the next button click. Then we can go, for example, brand text box dot clear. You can go with model text box dot clear. We can go with price text box dot clear. That's going to clear all the text box controls for the next button click. Then now we can reset the focus. So where's the, like, you know when you click an app or you click something or you just tap something on your phone, it's kind of blinking. So if you want to tap like a text box, it's kind of waiting for the input. So we'll reset the focus back to the top of the text boxes to the brand text box. So we'll say brand text box dot focus like that. So that just resets the focus. Okay, so we're going to have to actually just access one more event. So to do that, we'll have to go up here. So this is going to be the selected index changed. Okay, so to do that, we'll have to access our phone list in the constructor, in the forms constructor. So here we'll go with phone list box dot items, dot selected index changed plus equals new event handler, passing in, let's go with phone list box underscore selected index changed like that, semicolon. That should be correct. Let me just check the spelling. So phone list box underscore selected index changed. So we have our phone list box dot selected index change plus equals new event handler, passing in the phone list box underscore selected index change. So now underneath the button event, so the button click event, we'll just go underneath there. We'll say private void. We'll go with phone list box underscore selected index changed, passing in object sender comma event args. Spelled it wrong. Okay, so it should light up yellow, so that means it's working. If it lights up red, something's wrong. So it seems to be working, so we'll just go back down here. Okay, so let's write this event handler here. So we'll say that we want to take an index. So we'll say we have an int. So we have a local int. We'll call index. We'll point it to the phone listbox dot selected index. So this is going to grab you whatever is being selected. So dot selected index, which is going to be stored in memory in the index variable, which is uptype int. So the index is going to store the selected index as a value such as 0, 1. So how many indexes do we have? So whatever's in the list box, it goes from 0, 1, 2, and up to whatever. Number of elements minus 1. So here we'll go with, so after that, then we'll just go with message box dot show. And we'll show, for example, our phone list of list index. Actually, sorry, we'll say list, so we want to show our list of, so to access a list index, you can just use an array. So list of array index dot price dot toString. And then we're going to, so in the toStrings argument, we'll pass a formatting string, which is a currency formatter, so we'll just pass in C, like that. In a string literal, we'll just close the line like that. So we do have an exit button, which we kind of skip, so we do that every time, so we don't need to do that this time. So let's just save it and run it and just see if the app works. I'll just kind of describe to you what's happening here. So I think I'm supposed to add some stuff here. What happened to the name? Or is that just glitched out? It's supposed to say add phone. Let me just recheck that. Did I maybe click something by accident? Okay, so let's go with the text property. So I'm just going to click the button. I'm going to access the text property here. We'll just change that AD to add phone like that. That should be fine. I'm just going to save that, rerun the app. Okay, so the app popped up, so you can't really see it because I'm using just a built-in recorder for Windows. So we have, for example, basically it just popped up whatever's showing here. So I'll just describe to you what's happening. So in the first box at the top, I'm going to enter on the left. I'm just going to enter, for example, Samsung like that. Then here we could just go with like Galaxy. Then below we could go with price. I don't know, just enter some random price, and I'll click the button, add phone. So it's going to go into the list box. Now when I click the list box, a pop-up window comes up and it tells you the price. So you can just hit X or close it. So that's pretty much it, everything works. So that's the end of the tutorial. So thanks for watching, guys. If you guys like the video, you can like and subscribe to support the channel for more programming and investing tutorials. In the next video, what are we going to be doing? Let's just see. We're going to be moving on to some more class theories. Just a quick discussion on some more class stuff. So just kind of class notes on just classes in general. So thanks for watching, guys. If you guys want to see the rest of the tutorials, they'll be in the playlist on my channel, in the csharp.net playlist. Hopefully I'll see you guys there. Thanks for watching. Take care. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.